Hello. Good evening,
Good
Kishore. How
evening.
are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
So, yeah, good. So, ready?
Yeah,
Ready for your first session.
yeah.
Okay.
So, yep, you can
So,
start,
yeah.
Archit.
Yeah.
So, so it's 5th of July 2026, and today we have our scholar Kuppa Manikanta Sai Kishore, who is actually doing his research on a profession. And today he is here to actually explain a little bit about the profession and how it has been origin. And this is his first class. Going forward, there will be two more sessions that he'll be taking in the consecutive Sundays. Okay, Kishore, over to you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Kishore,
All the
all the
best.
best.
Your
Thanks.
permission.
Yeah, yeah.
Om Shri Gurupyo Namaha. Good evening, everyone. Uh, first I'll introduce myself. My name is Mankanta Sai Kishore. Yeah. Coming to my professional background, I work as a MTS Silicon Design Engineer at AMD. And coming to my educational background, I have done my masters from VLSI, masters in VLSI from Geetam University. And coming to my astrological studies, I have completed Jyotish Visharda from ICAS, and I have done Jyotish Acharya from Visro. I have done numerology, BNN, and Vastu also from Visro. And currently, I'm pursuing my PhD at Visro, and my title is Evolution of Profession and the Passive Income Models in the Digital Era, a comparative study. And my research guide is Krishnakant Garu. So, first, I wanted to thank him. Mainly, my sir is renowned scholar, researcher, and a visionary leader in the field of Vedic sciences and Jyotisha. He has been instrumental in reviving and preserving and promoting the timeless wisdom of our ancient scriptures through a modern research-oriented approach. So, uh, Sir's motto is: "We just don't teach astrology; we just make astrologers." I have joined Sir. I have joined the institute based on the Sir's motto and the way of the teaching of Sir. So I'm deeply grateful and very privileged to have opportunity to pursue my PhD under his guidance. And I'm thank you, sir, for accepting. And I also want to specially thank Sachna ma'am for her invaluable guidance and constant encouragement, selfless support throughout my PhD journey. Ma'am was the first person to call me when I said no to join in the PhD classes. Ma'am said, "No, you have to join." So from that day, she was supporting me every section. For each and every section, my first PPT used to go to Archana ma'am first. I don't know, she is sick, she didn't inform me, but even though she had continuously supported, I'm very grateful for that, ma'am, and I'm very much indebted to you.
Nothing like that, Kishore. Anytime. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks. And I also wanted to express my special thanks to Jyoti, Suri Garu, and Chalpati Garu, and the whole IT team who are working behind the Wistro also. So their dedication and timeless assistance, technical support, and constant motivation have been very much instrumental. And the way the PhD scholars are progressing here is a reflection of the collective encouragement, support, and the goodwill of the entire Wistro family. So I sincerely thank each and every member for being a part of this journey, and your collective efforts have played a significant role in shaping this journey for all the scholars, and I'm deeply grateful to be a part of this such an inspiring and supportive institute. So, coming to my topic is evolution of professions and passive income models in the digital era. So, my research is divided into three sections. So, in the first section, we will explore how the evolution of the we will explore the evolution of professions. It means how the occupations have been transferred from the earliest stage of human civilization to the present digital era. And in the second section, I will discuss about analyzing the professions through Jyotisha, understanding how Vedic astrology helps in identifying professional indications and career paths. And in the third section, we'll study the passive income and how it is used as a remedial measure by examining both the practical and astrological significances. So, I hope since the topics are related to our professional lives. I believe it will be relevant to each and everyone, and it might be interesting also. And I sincerely hope you will enjoy all these sections. And I look forward for your valuable feedbacks also. So, with this, I'll start with today's section. So, before going to evolution of professions, first we need to understand what is a profession. So, a profession is merely not a job through which we always earn money. It is much deeper than that. So, profession is the organized expression of human karma. Every action we perform using our knowledge, skills, experience, and abilities to fulfill our responsibilities is called as a profession. So, why why the word karma refers here is the purposeful action. Whatever the purposeful action we do, we call it as a karma. Every individual possesses different talents and abilities. When these talents are applied systematically for the benefit of oneself and the society, then that becomes a profession. So, why we need these professions? So, profession exists because human beings have needs, and these needs can be fulfilled only through the activities and the skills. Okay, for the very first thing, we need to survive. So to survive, every profession emerged originally, and to satisfy the human needs. So without profession, there would not be no food. We'll not have any no houses, and we don't have any transportation, and we don't have any health care. So survival is the foundation for every profession. And next comes the sustainability of life. So profession generates income, thus provides financial stability for individuals and for their families also. And third one comes the developing skills and knowledge. So as we work, we gain experience, we develop expertise, and also we pass the knowledge to our peers also. So the knowledge which we gain should be always passed to the next generations also. This gradually transformed ordinary work into a specialized professions. And next comes the society. So every profession solves somebody else's problem. Like for example, if we take doctor, he solves the health issues. If we take teachers, they solves the educational problems. If we take software engineers, they solve the technical related problems. So the value of a profession is measured by the value it creates for the society. So and next comes the dharma. From the perspective of Vedic philosophy, profession is not merely employment, it's one's dharma. So, when a person performs work with responsibility, ethics, honesty, and dedication, that work becomes a karma. So, this is beautifully stated in our Bhagavad Gita. Like, karmanya vadika raste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetur bhurmi te sangotsva karmani. So this means that you have the right to perform your duty, but never to the fruits. And coming to the professional evolution, as I said, every profession is born from a need, and it is shaped by activity, and it gets refined by the skills and expressed as a profession. And then, what are we contributing to the society? So here, first we see the need. For example, here I have taken a need for food. So for need for is the human need, and the human activity which we are doing is farming. And for that, the skill which we require is agriculture, and the profession which they possess is farming, farmer, and the economy which what we get is through food production and the trade, and thus solves the thus gives stability, a stable society, and the growth. And next comes need for protection. For protection, we need the activity needed is defending. And for that, we need the combat skills. And for that, we have designated a profession for soldier. And that gives economy for security and governances. And for society, it is safe for society and for orders also. And next comes the need for knowledge. For knowledge, the activities needed is teaching, the skills required are learning and understanding, and the profession is teacher or professor, and the economy is education and the wisdom. And for the society, we gave the enlightened civilization. So, and for coming to need for technology, we have the activities creating solutions, For that, we need technical skills. For that, we have an engineer. And for that, we have digital economy and innovations skills are required. And for that, from that, we get an advanced digital society. So from a need to an activity, from activity to skill, and from skill to profession, from profession to economy, and from economy to civilization. This is the evolution of the human progress. Yeah. Our uh, professions have been started from right from the pre-Vedic period. So in the pre-Vedic and period, human beings did not think about the careers, business, or occupations. Their only objective was for the survival. So people have lived in forests, caves, and mountains, and there were no kingdoms. We don't have villages, and we don't have agriculture, or we don't have any organized society. So every activity performed by humans was aimed to fulfill their basic needs, such as to get food, water, shelter, and for protection. So their life revolved around three major necessities: finding food, protecting themselves from wild animals, and adapting to changing environmental conditions. So occupations they have chosen, the major occupation they have chosen was hunting. So people hunted wild animals for food, and this developed courage, physical strength, weapon handling, and strategic thinking. So later, this became a foundation for soldiers, warriors, hunters, forest guards, and defense professions. And next comes gathering. They have collected fruits, leaves, nuts, and herbs. Later, this became the foundation for agriculture, herbal medicines, botany, and food collections. And next comes fishing. Communities which were living near the rivers and lakes began fishing. This eventually given rise to fishing communities, marine professions, water transport, and trade. And next comes animal domestication. So humans slowly realized that certain animals could be tamed instead of hunted. So domestication helped in transportation, farming, milk production, and protection. So this later evolved into livestock management, dairy farming, veterinary sciences, and agriculture. And next comes the shelter constructions. So as people stayed longer in one place, they began constructing house using wood, mud, and leaves, and also stones. So this became the origin of architecture, construction, civil engineering, and craftsmanship. So in this era, the astrological influences, most of the astrological influences are from the moon, Mars, and the Saturn. So here the moon represented the nourishment, food, water, emotions, and adaptation. Humans constantly search for food and water while depending entirely on nature. Therefore, moon symbolizes the instinct of the survival here. And next comes the Mars. Mars represents courage, strength, hunting, weapons, and protection. So the ability to hunt animals, defend the tribe, and face dangers. Danger reflects from Martian qualities. So hence, Mars dominated the hunting and the protection activities of this era. And next comes the Saturns. Saturn signifies hard work, endurance, patience, scarcity, and survival through effort. As we all know, life during that period was very much difficult. So humans had to struggle each and every day to survive. So therefore, Saturn represents the discipline, perseverance, and the labor that shaped the earliest forms of work. So next comes the importance in this evolution. So at that time, they have built a teamwork for cooperation, and they have developed intelligence and solving abilities, and they have passed it to the next generations also, and they have improved the physical strength and survival skills, and they have discovered the fire, and they have also laid the foundation for the agricultural civilization and few specialized professions. And next comes the Vedic period. In the Vedic period, we have the introduced the Chaturvarna system. So the word Chaturvarna is derived from the two Sanskrit words, where Chatur means four and Varna means classification of categories. Therefore, Chaturvarna refers to the fourfold classification of society. So, according to Bhagavad Gita, which Lord Krishna said, Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha Tasya Karta Ramapimam Vijja Karta Ramavyayam. This means that the fourfold the fourfold order, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, was created by me according to the division of qualities and their actions, not by the birth. As the civilization grew, people could no longer perform each and every task by themselves. So they needed education, protection, food productions, trade, skilled craftsmanship, and administration. So for this system was introduced, and in this the first Varna is Brahmana. The, their primary responsibility was the preservation and dissemination of the knowledge. So their duties included studying the Vedas, teaching students, performing yajnas, providing spiritual guidance, and astrology and philosophy. So they represented the intellectual and spiritual foundation of that society. And the planetary influences of this Varna are Jupiter, Sun, and Ketu. Jupiter for wisdom and teaching, Sun for spiritual authority, and Ketu for intuition and higher knowledge. And next comes the Kshatriya, the second Varna. Their duty was to protect the society. So their professions included kings, warriors, military commanders, administrations, judges. So their role was to maintain justice, law, and order. So the planetary influences were Sun, Mars, and Jupiter. Sun for authority and leadership, Mars for courage and protection, Jupiter for righteous leadership. And next comes the Vaishya. So their responsibility was economic development. So their professions included agriculture, trade, commerce, finance, cattle raiding. So they generated wealth and ensured the economic stability for the society. So the astrological influences were Mercury, Venus, and Moon. Mercury for commerce and business, Venus for wealth and luxury, Moon for agriculture and nourishment. And next comes Shudra, the fourth Varna. So their contribution came through skilled work and practical services. So their professions included construction, carpentry, metalworks, manufacturing, and public service. Their astrological influences were Saturn and Mars. Saturn for labor, discipline, and perseverance, Mars for engineering and technical skills. So, the original Chathavarna system did not indicate any superiority or inferiority. They have just represented the functional specialization. Every Varma depend on each other. Like knowledge cannot flourish without protection, protection cannot continue without economic support, trade cannot function without skilled workers, and skilled workers need knowledge and governance. So all divisions were interdependent and equally essential for the uh, greater societies. And next comes the key developments in the Vedic era. So here they have developed the education and spiritual wisdom. They have established governance and protected systems. They have expanded trades, and they have a specialization of crafts and manufacturing skill services, and formation of settled communities and organized social structures were formed at that time. So the key takeaways from this period were the Vedic period laid the foundation for the specialization of work. Professions were chosen based upon the qualities, actions, and natural aptitude, and work was considered as the duty, not merely a means of earning. And this system created a balanced, harmonious society where every profession had dignity and the purpose. And next comes the agriculture revolution. So after the pre-Vedic period and Vedic period, this was the period where the huge revolution had been seen in terms of the profession. So earlier, every individual used to spend their time searching for food, but in this era, there was surplus food by through the form of agriculture. They have uh, they have changed the professions not only from searching for food. They through the agriculture we have got irrigation specialists, we have got traders, we have got cattle breeders, and we have got the storage managers. So coming to the farmers, the most important profession during that period was farming. So farmers used to cultivate the land, they used to grow crops and ensure food security for the society. Agriculture became the backbone of the civilization at that time. And irrigation specialists. So here the as farming has been expanded, managing water became the essential thing. So people began constructing canals, walls, wells, reservoirs, and irrigation systems. This gave rise to specialist responsibility for water management, which later evolved into engineering and irrigation sciences. And next comes the grain traders. So with the surplus crops available, exchanging goods became common. So some individuals specialized in buying, selling, and transporting agricultural products. This became foundation for commerce, business, marketplace, and trade. And next comes the storage managers. Since crops were harvested only during certain seasons, food had to be preserved. So granaries and storage facilities have been constructed at that time. So people specialized in storing, protecting, and managing food supplies. This represents one of the earliest form of inventory management and logistics. And next comes the cattle breeders. Domesticated animals became valuable assets at that time. So they were used for plowing fields, transportation, milk production, and trade. This gave rise to livestock breeding and dairies-based professions. So astrological influences at that time were Moon, Venus, and Mercury. Here, the Moon represents the nourishment, food production, agriculture, water, and growth. Since farming depends on water, seasons, and crop nourishment, the Moon became one of the strongest indicators for the agriculture. And sorry, Venus signifies fertility, prosperity, abundance, and wealth. When agriculture started producing surplus food, prosperity increased. Livestock, fertile land, and agriculture wealth all comes under the Venus category. And next comes the Mercury. Mercury governs commerce, communication, calculation, trade, and business. So as surplus food was exchanged between the villages, Mercury became responsible for marketing and commercial transactions and the economic system growth at that time. And Saturn. Saturn represents the labor, discipline, cultivation, patience, and hard work. Agriculture requires continuous effort throughout the year, from preparing the land to harvesting the crop. So, therefore, Saturn signifies agriculture labor and discipline cultivation. And next comes the rise of education and knowledge professions. So, as the civilization advanced in the agriculture era, education also became organized through the next eras. So here the Gurukula systems have been established. So the students used to live with their guru and received education not only in reading and writing, but also in discipline, ethics, spirituality, mathematics, medicine, astronomy, warfare, and arts. The guru used to shape both the character and intellect of the student. This holistic approach had produced many experts in the fields of teachers, scholars, astrologers, physicians, and scientists and mathematicians. So first, we discuss about acharyas, teacher. The teacher transmitted the Vedas, grammar, philosophy, ethics, science, music, and arts. These knowledge were passed orally from one generation to another, preserving intellectual heritage. And next comes the scholars and philosophers. So scholars studied the Vedas, Upanishads, logic, metaphysics, dharma, and the nature of existence. They debated philosophical questions, interpreted scriptures, and guided society through their wisdom. This profession laid the foundation for philosophy, law, and higher education later. And next comes the astrologers. Jyotisha emerged as one of the six Vedangas. So astrologers studies planetary movements, nakshatras, dashas, muhurtas, and their influence on human life. They advised kings, guided agricultural activities, select auspicious timings, and helped individuals to make any important life decisions. And next comes the Vaidyas, I mean physicians. With the development of Ayurveda, medicine became an independent profession. So physicians understood herbs, nutrition, surgeries, diagnostics, and healings. So their objective was not only to cure disease, but also to maintain physical and mental health, along with spiritual well-being. And next comes the scientists and mathematicians. This period witnessed remarkable progress in mathematics, astronomy, architecture, metallurgy, and the engineering. So the scholars have made significant contributions in calculations, measurements, planetary observations, and scientific research, which laid the foundation for many modern scientific disciplines. So next comes the key features. So in this era, the key features were the Gurukula system, which promoted holistic education, which combines the intellectual, moral, and spiritual development. And next comes the oral traditions and scriptures, ensure that knowledge was preserved for future generations also. And next, the culture encouraged research, curiosity, observation, and critical thinking. So these developments established India's intellectual tradition also. So the astrological influences here were Jupiter, Mercury, and Ketu. So Jupiter here is the karka of wisdom, higher education, philosophy, dharma, and teachings. So it represents Guru's spiritual knowledge, ethics, and higher learnings. So whenever knowledge is used to guide society, Jupiter becomes the dominant influence. So next comes the Mercury. Mercury governs intelligence, communication, logic writing, mathematics, calculations, and analytical thinking. All activities involving education, research, debate, commerce, and intellectual skills, they were strengthened by Mercury. And next comes Ketu. Ketu represented the intuition, deep research, spirituality, and hidden knowledge. So it encourages us self-inquiry, meditation, and the pursuit of the higher truths. So Ketu is especially associated with the mystical sciences, including Jyotisha, philosophy, and advanced researches at that time. And next comes the modern administration and bureaucratic professions. So this period laid the foundation for the modern civil services and government administration that we are also seeing today. So as population increased, the cities were expanded and governance became more complex. So government needed officials to maintain law and order, to collect the taxes, to preserve land records, to construct roads and canals, to supervise education, and also to ensure justice to all the people. So this transformed administration itself into a profession. So major professions at that time were law and judiciary, public working departments, communication services, education administration, and core functions of the were the core functions of the modern administration. So here, the judiciary became an independent professional system through judges, magistrates, lawyers, court clerks ensured justice by interpreting and enforcing laws. This strengthened the rule of law and protected citizen rights. And next comes public working department. Government also required engineers and technical professions like civil engineers, surveyors, canal officers, road inspectors to build infrastructure such as bridges, irrigation systems, railways, and public buildings. So this greatly improved transportation and economic development also. Next comes the communication services. With expanding territories, communication became essential. So postal offices, telegraph operators, railway administrations, and communication engineers connected different regions and improved governance at that time. And coming to education administration, education also became institutionalized at that time. So schools, school inspectors, principals, professors, and educational officers ensured quality of education and developed future generations. This marked the beginning of organized educational administration at that time. And the astrological influences at that time were Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, and Mars and Venus. So here the Sun represents government authority, leadership, executive power, and responsibility. So people working in government leadership or administration or executive roles often show strong influence of the Sun. And next comes the Saturn. Saturn signifies discipline, structure, bureaucracy. rules, accountability, and systematic administration. So government systems function through discipline and established procedures, making Saturn one of the strongest indicators of the bureaucratic professions. And next comes the Mercury. Mercury governs documentation, communication, writing, accounting, records, intelligence, and clerical works. So every administrative department depends on accurate communication and record keeping, which are represented by Mercury. And next comes Jupiter. Jupiter represents law, ethics, justice, policy making, higher administration, and wise decision making. So judges, senior advisors, policy makers, and administrative leaders are strongly influenced by Jupiter. And next comes Mars. Mars governs engineering, construction, military services, technical operations, and infrastructure. So departments responsible for roads, railways, canals, defense engineering, and public works reflect Martian energy, Mars energy. And next comes Venus. Venus represents architects, civic communities, public buildings, urban development, cultural institutions, and beautification. So many planning and development departments comes under the influence of the Venus. And next comes the Industrial Revolution. So instead of producing goods by hand, people had begun using machines powered by steam and later electricity. So this dramatically increases the productivity, reduced manual effort, and created entirely new professions. So here the rise of machines were the key in the industrial era. So the invention of the steam engine revolutionized manufacturing and transportation. Large factories replaced small workshops, and production became faster and more efficient. And for the first time, industries could produce goods on a massive scale. And next, emerging professions at that period were engineers, factory managers, technicians, machine operators, railway staffs, accountants, industrial entrepreneurs, and quality inspectors. So, coming to the engineers, the Industrial Revolution created a huge demand for engineers at that time. So, their responsibility was to design, build, improve, and maintain machines, factories, and industrial systems. So, engineering became one of the most respected professions of the modern era at that time. So, next comes the factory managers. As industries expanded, factories required professionals to supervise production, workers, and operations. So, this gave rise to factory managers who coordinate manufacturing process and improved efficiency. Next, technicians. So, machines require regular maintenance and repairs. So, technicians became responsible for installing, maintaining, troubleshooting, and repairing industrial equipment. Next comes machine operators. So workers were trained to operate specialized machines. Unlike earlier craftsmen who produced goods manually, machine operators controlled industrial equipment, thus increasing in both speed and consistency. And next comes the railway staff. The Industrial Revolution also transformed the transportation. So railway engineers, station masters, locomotive drivers, and maintenance staff became essential for transporting people, raw materials, and finished products across the long distances. And next comes accountants. As factory grew, business required professionals to manage wages, inventories, profits, taxations, and financial records. Thus, accounting became an important industrial profession at that time. And next comes the entrepreneurs. So many individuals invested in factories, introduced innovations, and established industries. These entrepreneurs became leaders of industrial growth and economic development. And the major developments at that time were textile mills, iron and steel production, steam power, railways got expanded, and we have seen the factory systems. And the astrological influences were Mars, Saturn, Mercury, Sun, Rahu, and Venus. So Mars represents the engineering, machinery, mechanical skills, energy, manufacturing, and technical action, which used to govern industrial involving machines, metals, and constructions. And next comes the Saturn. Saturn signifies labor, discipline, factories, mass production, structure, and long-term industrial work. And next comes Mercury. Mercury governs technical planning, business communication, trade, logistics, accounting, and commercial operations. So industrial growth required efficient communication and management. So Mercury has higher significance at that time. Next comes the Sun. The Sun represents leadership, management, administration, and government policies. So as the industries have been expanded, those required strong leadership and regulations to manage those large organizations. And next comes Rahu. Rahu is one of the most important planet during this industrial revolution. It signifies innovation, technology, unconventional thinking, modernization, and scientific breakthroughs. So many revolutionary inventions can be symbolically associated with the Rahu's transformation, Rahu's energy only. And next comes Venus. Venus governs design, aesthetics, consumer goods, textiles, luxury products, and industrial arts. Industries related to fashion, textiles, and consumer products were strongly influenced by the Venus. And next comes the information technology revolution. So instead of machines becoming the primary source of production, information became the most valuable resource at that time. So the invention of computers, software, and digital communication transformed the way people worked, learned, communicated, and conducted their businesses. So the IT revolution that connected people, business, governments, and the knowledge. This completely changed the concept of work. Employees could communicate remotely, companies could operate internationally, and digital services became possible. So the key developments at that time were software developments, networking, database administrations, web developments, IT consultings, system administrations, and telecommunications. So when coming to software development, programming became one of the fastest growing professions. So the software engineers developed operating systems, applications, and enterprise softwares and business solutions, and networking. Organizations required secure communication between computers. So this created networking professionals responsible for designing and maintaining digital networks. And next comes database administrations. As data became the new asset, specialists were needed to organize, store, protect, and retrieve information essentially. So this gave rise to database administrations. And next, web development. The internet introduced websites and online services. So web developers built digital platforms that connected business directly with the customers. And next comes the IT consultings. Organization needed experts to guide their digital transformation. So IT consultants helped business to adapt technology to improve efficiency and solve technical challenges. And system administrations. So, coming to system administrations, large organizations requires professionals to maintain servers, operating systems, and enterprise infrastructure. So they have they there's they needed a system administration at that time. And telecommunications. Communications network expanded rapidly through satellites, fiber optics, and mobile technologies. So telecommunication engineers were made global connectivity possible. And we also have a BPO and KPO services. So, as the IT revolution has been enabled outsourcing, countries like India had become global service hubs for customer support, finance, software development, research, and business process management. So, the astrological influences were Mercury, Rahu, Saturn, and Ketu. So, Mercury became the dominant planet of the IT revolution because Mercury governs communication, programming, coding, logical and analytical thinking, software development, data processing, and problem solving. So almost every IT profession depends on Mercury. And next comes Rahu. Rahu represents technology, innovation, and the internet, globalization and disruption also. The internet itself reflects Rahu's qualities because it connects the entire world through an invisible digital networks. So Rahu expanded the reach of business beyond the geographical boundaries. And next comes Saturn. So Saturn here represents the discipline, structures, stability, and systematic process. Software development follows structured life cycles, testing procedures, maintaining documentations, and quality assurances. So large digital infrastructures also require Saturn's stability. And next comes Ketu. Ketu governs abstractions, algorithms, deep technical logics, research, debugging, optimization, and backend technologies. So many software architects, researchers, cybersecurity professions, and the algorithm developers reflects K2's influence. And next comes the digital era. So the in the digital era, there was a complete development of computers, internet, mobile technologies, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and automation. These had transformed every aspect of human civilization. So earlier, wealth was measured by land, industries, and physical assets, but in today's era, information has become one of the most valuable assets, and technology has become the greatest equalizer. So, why new professions have been emerged? So, there was a rapid technological advancement, and due to the global connectivity and global reach, and their shift from manual labor to knowledge work. So these are the attributes which have seen the which are the reason for the emerging of the new professions. And in the current digital era, we are seeing technological professions through AI engineer. Have a data scientist, cyber security experts, cloud architects, and app developers. And they are also creating economy through YouTube and by influencers, by podcasters, digital educators, and bloggers. And we also have a digital business models now, like e-commerce, SaaS, freelancing, and subscription platforms. These are the new emerged professions in the digital era. So, coming to the astrological insights, Mercury, Rahu, Saturn, Venus, Jupiter, Mars. These are the planets which are playing the key role in the digital era. So Mercury is for rule intelligence, communication, learning, coding, writing, and networking. Rahu, he represents innovation, AI, automatic automations, virtual reality, social media, digital platforms, and he also amplifies the ambitions, mass influence, and futuristic thinking. And next comes the Saturn. Here, the Saturn symbolizes discipline, structural long-term planning, and perfection. He also rules for system design, quality testing, cybersecurity, and persistence. He also teaches patience and builds lasting digital foundations. And next comes Venus. Venus rules for creativity, design, aesthetics, entertainment, and branding. And he also guns UI or UX, uh, that is Linux, that and fashion technology, digital arts, and content creations. He also brings harmony, attraction, and visual appeal to the digital work. And next comes the Jupiter. Jupiter represents knowledge, wisdom, higher learning, and mentoring. He rules education, we are seeing online courses, research, and consulting. He expands opportunities, ethics, and growth in the digital careers. And next comes the Mars. He symbolizes energy through action, engineering, and competitions. So he rules hardware, robotics, mechanical technology, and cybersecurity. He drives execution, courage, and breakthrough the innovations. And next comes the future trends. In the future trends, we are going to see AI everywhere. So AI will be in embedded systems. AI will be seen in uh, health health organizations, and through AI, we can enhance the productivity and the innovation. And human AI collaborations will be seen. So professions will now have to focus on creativity, empathy, and complex decisions that the AI cannot replace. So complex decisions should be made by humans only. So AI cannot replace that. And sustainability and green economy. So environmental focused jobs like clean energy and sustainable solutions will dominate the future economy. And decentralization like blockchains uh, and the decentralized systems will transform the ownership, trust, and governance. And next comes the global connectivity. Now we are also seeing the remote work, and we are seeing a digital platforms, and we don't have any borders. We have a great opportunities ahead in our hands, which will become the new normal. And next comes the digital inclusion and lifelong learning. So, access to the technology and continuous learning will be essential for each and every person for their personal growth and their for professional growth also. So, the future will belong to those who embrace change, learn continuously, and create value for humanity. Uh, thank you.
Yeah, that was a wonderful presentation, Kishore. Like a profession, evolution of a profession
Yeah,
from ancient era to now. That was really wonderful, relating to the planets and all. So it was completely covering of a 1 year course altogether.
yeah.
Yeah. So any questions from the audience? Someone wants to ask the question? No? Yeah, Rajendra?
సాయి కిషోర్ గారు ఆ
Yes,
ప్రెజెంటేషన్ చాలా బాగుంది.
thanks.
జస్ట్ లైక్ హ్యూమన్ ఎవల్యూషన్ లాగా టోటల్
Yeah,
ప్రొఫెషన్ ఇచ్చారు. బట్ డిజిటల్ ఎరాలో కేతు కెనాట్ బి కన్సిడర్.
yeah. K2 go to consider చేస్తాం for deep knowledge.
ఓకే
Yeah,
ఓకే దట్స్ ఆల్. ఆల్ ది బెస్ట్ సాయి కిషోర్.
thanks.
Thank you. Meena?
No questions, only appreciations.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
నిజం కిషోర్ గారు చాలా బాగా చెప్పారు. మేము అంటే మాకు కొంచెం భయపడే వాళ్ళం, మా జూనియర్స్ మేము. మాకు కూడా కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ వచ్చింది, చెప్పొచ్చు మేము వస్తామే, వన్ డే ఈ పొజిషన్ కి వస్తాం అనే కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ వచ్చింది.
Thanks, man.
చాలా బాగా
Very,
చెప్పారు. రియల్ నైస్.
very good. Hariprasad garu.
అండి థ్యాంక్ యూ కిషోర్ గారు.
Thanks.
సాయి కిషోర్, ఇట్స్ ఎ వెరీ గుడ్ వండర్ఫుల్ సెషన్. కొంచెం మీరు ఇంకో దాన్ని మాకు అర్థమయ్యేలాగా చెప్పుంటే బాగా 1 by 1 అంటే ఎట్లా మనకు ఇది ఏఐ ఇక్కడికి కూడా డెవలప్ వచ్చింది, ఎందువల్ల వచ్చింది అనేది కూడా కొంచెం అంటే అది మనం చెప్పాలంటే కొంచెం కష్టం. మీరు బాగా దానికి దగ్గరగా తీసుకొచ్చి వివరంగా చెప్పారు. ఇట్స్ ఎ వండర్ఫుల్.
Thanks.
ఓకే,
Yeah.
ఆల్ ది బెస్ట్.
Thank you. Thank you అండి హరిప్రసాద్ గారు. నలగంటి నాయుడు గారు.
కిషోర్ గారు బాగా చెప్పారండి. అంటే ఇది అందరికీ కొత్త సబ్జెక్టు. హవెవర్ నా డౌట్స్ ఏంటంటే, ఇప్పుడు మనకు జనరల్గా ఇంజనీరింగ్ అనేటప్పటికీ కేటగిరీ అయిపోయింది. ఇప్పుడు కోర్ ఇంజనీరింగ్స్, తర్వాత కనుక ఈసీ అండ్ ఎలక్ట్రికల్ అండ్ ఇప్పుడు ఐటీ అంటారు. సో ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ టెక్నాలజీ. సో ఈ ఈ మనకు జనరల్గా మనకు దగ్గరికి వచ్చినప్పుడు జనరల్గా అడిగేది జనరల్ అంటే, మా అబ్బాయి ఇంజనీరింగ్ చేయించాలి అంటే వాట్ ఈస్ ద కాంబినేషన్, అలా 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 ఆ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో మనం చెప్పగలుగుతామా ఆస్ట్రాలజీ?
నెక్స్ట్ సెక్షన్ లో అదే చెప్తానండి. నెక్స్ట్ సెక్షన్ అదే ఉంటుంది.
ఓకే, జనరల్గా అయితే మనల్ని అప్రోచ్ అయ్యేది ఆస్ట్రాలజీగా. జనరల్గా ఈ ఉన్నాయి. బట్ అడ్వాన్స్గా ఇప్పుడు ఏ వస్తున్నాయంటే ఇంజనీరింగ్లోనే ఏ కాంబినేషన్స్ ఉంటే కనుక బలంగా వెళ్తారు అనేది ఉంటుంది. రెండోది కనుక ట్రాన్స్ఫర్మేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ ది సొసైటీ గోస్ టు వన్ సైడ్కి వెళ్ళిపోతే కనుక ఇన్బ్యాలెన్స్ అవుతుంటుంది. కాబట్టి అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈవెన్ ఇప్పుడు ఐటీ వదిలేసి ఇప్పుడు అంతా సివిల్ కోర్ సబ్జెక్టులు తీసుకుంటున్నారని ఐఐటీలు కానీ ట్రిపుల్ ఐటీలు కానీ అంటున్నారు. సో ఆ కాంబినేషన్ కానీ అంటే కోర్ సబ్జెక్ట్లో కానీ ఎలాగా ఉంటుంది అని చెప్పగలుగుతారు, బాగుంటుందని నా ఉద్దేశం.
నెక్స్ట్ సెక్షన్ లో నేను అది కవర్ చేస్తాను. ప్రాక్టికల్ ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్ నెక్స్ట్ సెక్షన్ లో ఉంటుంది.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
నెక్స్ట్ సండే ఇదే టైం కి మీరు 6 అలా లాగిన్ అయితే మీకు ఇవన్నీ కూడాను ఆన్సర్ చేస్తారండి.
ఓకే, ఎక్సలెంట్ ప్రెజెంటేషన్ అండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఆనందరావు గారు.
బాగుందండి సాయి కిషోర్ గారు. వెరీ నైస్ presentation and elaborative presentation. We have tried much to present this one, but the introduction itself is very good and very elaborative also during this progression how it has been done and చెప్పేస్తని. So we expect next time your class would be very much interesting.
Thanks.
I wish you all the best.
Thanks.
Thank you. Nice of you. Nice presentation.
Yeah, Kirti ji.
You explained really well about the profession and connecting all the planets. Means इतना कभी किसी ने सोचा नहीं था. You really did very well in explanation also. Nice presentation.
Thanks.
That was really good, Kishore. Thank you, Kirti ji. So I guess if there are no more questions, we can conclude this particular session. So the next PhD. Oh, claps.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very nice. So the next presentation, PhD scholar session, will be on 8th of July, which is on Wednesday. So kindly tune in for that is also a very new topic. Not everyone, very few might have heard it. It's a batch flower remedies session. That is a very new topic for most of the other than Vistro students. Vistro students knows it, but other than Vistro students, it is a very new topic. So kindly tune in on Wednesday. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time, and congratulations once again. Bye.
Thanks, ma'am.